What are the qualities that make a professional? In the world of sports, we recognize professionals by their skill, drive, and discipline, and most of all by that special winning attitude that marks the best professionals in every field. These same qualities apply to all professional motor coach drivers. Getting behind the wheel and driving safely takes plenty of skill and know-how, but your technical skills are just one part of the picture. Your concern, commitment, and dedication to service excellence are equally important. A winning attitude is the primary characteristic that sets a professional driver apart from the others. This video program will introduce 4 key elements of professional driving: preparing for a trip, assisting your passengers, choosing proper areas for passenger loading and unloading, and driving safely. Let's start with preparation. Preparing yourself to drive is the first concern. Driving is a demanding activity, so you need to be in good physical condition. Be sure you are well rested and alert when you report for work. Never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs. It's against the law and company policy. If you are under a physician's care for any medical condition requiring prescription drugs, you must advise your dispatcher or supervisor before you are dispatched. Always ask your physician or pharmacist if the medication will make you sleepy or drowsy and unsafe to drive any vehicle. Certain over-the-counter remedies for a cold or flu can make you drowsy as well. Your first responsibility is the safety of your passengers. Under no circumstances should you consider driving when a medication you are taking could impair your driving ability. Have regular vision and hearing tests, and be sure to wear corrective aids such as eyeglasses when prescribed by your doctor. Your emotional condition is also important. Worry, anger, frustration, and even excitement can distract you from the important job of driving. Work at having your emotions in check before you get behind the wheel. Next, let's consider your personal appearance. Professionals always dress the part, and this is especially important for motor coach drivers. Most companies have standard uniform requirements or specify a dress code for drivers. Good personal grooming and a neat, clean uniform send a positive message that you take pride in yourself and your company, and you care about your passengers. Remember, first impressions are lasting. In the eyes of your passengers, you are the company. Passengers perceive your professionalism in your personal appearance as well as your driving, and their confidence helps to create a very pleasant trip for everyone, including you. Reporting to work on time is another characteristic of professional drivers. And finally, remember that you are part of a team, working in concert with others at your company to provide the best service to your customers. After getting yourself ready for work, your next step is to prepare for the trip. First, know your route. Study maps and make notes about the trip, including alternate routes. Check on road conditions, such as construction areas, to estimate the total trip time. Second, check the weather forecast so you can plan for both driving conditions and passenger needs. And third, know your vehicle. For example, you must be aware of the space needed for making proper turns, especially right turns. You will also need to be completely familiar with your vehicle's height, width, and ground clearances so you can properly negotiate in tight areas. The final element of preparing for a trip is the pre-trip vehicle inspection. This crucial procedure should include a check of the engine components, driving instruments, emergency equipment, cleanliness and appearance of the restroom and galley, and proper operation of the public address system and your two-way radio or cell phone. Please stop the tape now to discuss the review questions you see on the screen. Working with passengers is one of your most important responsibilities. You can greatly increase their comfort and enjoyment by following a few key guidelines. First, introduce yourself to the group leader. Establish a good working relationship by reviewing the trip itinerary and other details. Give all passengers a friendly greeting as they board the motor coach. Be ready to assist anyone who may need help in boarding. And don't forget to handle luggage properly. Passengers notice and appreciate your careful treatment of their possessions. Ask passengers whether their bags contain any fragile items, and then store luggage tightly and efficiently to minimize movement during the trip. Make sure the luggage compartment doors are securely closed and locked. Once the passengers are on board, give them a brief orientation. Make sure they are aware of safety features, such as the emergency exits and fire extinguisher. Ask passengers to stay seated while the bus is moving. Also remind passengers that smoking is not permitted on the motor coach, including the restrooms. Drivers must never smoke or use any tobacco products while on the bus or in the presence of passengers. Make sure the temperature in the passenger compartment is comfortable. Adjust the climate control settings if necessary, and don't forget to offer music or an entertainment video to help your passengers have a more pleasant trip. At times, your passengers may enjoy themselves a bit too much. When this happens, you'll need to resist the temptation to get caught up in the party mood. You may need to ask especially noisy passengers to please tone it down a bit. Remember that your responsibility, first and foremost, is transporting your passengers safely to their destination. And what about unhappy passengers? First, show your concern and empathy and never argue. If you cannot resolve an issue yourself, explain that you will refer it to the company for resolution. The Passenger Management Program, which is part of this video series, provides detailed guidelines for dealing with disruptive or angry passengers. In all your interactions with passengers, remember that you are the main public relations person for your company. Customers base their image of the company primarily on their interaction with the driver. Courtesy, service, and safety are the messages you want to convey through every action and attitude. Please stop the tape now to discuss the review questions that you see on the screen. Mishaps are most likely to occur when passengers are boarding or leaving the motor coach. For this reason, you must carefully select the safest possible areas for passenger loading and unloading. As you approach a stop, think ahead about the best way to position your motor coach. There are two primary considerations. First, the area must allow passengers to board or disembark safely. And second, you should avoid stopping in a location that will require you to back up when leaving. Ideally, you will want to park parallel with the sidewalk, positioning the bus 4 to 6 inches away from the edge of the curb. This ideal distance allows a safe, comfortable step between the sidewalk and the motor coach stairs. Of course, you won't always be able to find an ideal area for loading and unloading. In these situations, you will need to use a passenger aid, such as a kneeling bus mechanism, retractable step, or a step stool. Position yourself so you can assist passengers when necessary. Stand to the left or right side of the door as your passengers exit the bus. Repeat to each person, please use the handrails and watch your step. Thank you. Extend your hand at the last step and provide extra help if needed. Instruct passengers to step in the center of the retractable step or stool to avoid tilting and losing their balance. Drive slowly as you pull away from a stop. A gradual departure will minimize dust and fumes, leaving passengers with a final positive impression of your safe and considerate service. Please pause the tape now to discuss the review questions you see on the screen. We've now reached the fourth and final topic of this program, driving safely. Your skill as a driver demonstrates your total commitment to professionalism. Your actions and behavior behind the wheel should always reflect your awareness of a crucial fact. You transport the most precious of all cargo, people. Let's briefly review some key guidelines for safe driving. First, observe safe speeds. Driving too fast greatly increases the risk of an accident. Maintain an appropriate and safe following distance. at least 5 seconds under ideal driving conditions. Keep your starts, stops, and turns gradual. Use foresight to avoid distractions that take your attention away from the road. And finally, drive calmly. Driving calmly means keeping your composure even when other drivers behave in rude or foolish ways. An angry reaction on your part is not just unprofessional, it may frighten your passengers and could even cost you your job. In addition, watch what you say when talking on the two-way radio or cell phone. Never use foul or offensive language, which violates FCC regulations and company policy. Chances are your passengers will be listening as well. While we're on this subject, let's review 4 basic rules for professional use of communications devices. First, never use a cell phone while operating a commercial or company vehicle. Second, do not answer incoming calls while you're in transit. Third, find a safe place to stop before answering or making a call. And finally, coordinate with dispatch before your trip about when and where you will make contact. The cell phone deserves a special mention because it now represents a major cause of vehicle accidents. In recent years, this useful and convenient tool has become a 70-mile-per-hour distraction, often with tragic consequences. Be alert for drivers who are using cell phones. They may act unpredictably, and you should always be ready to take evasive action. Remember, your ultimate goal is to drive so smoothly that passengers forget they are on a bus. In fact, the best drivers are never noticed for their driving skill because their passengers are thoroughly relaxed and comfortable. Breakdowns and emergencies can happen, and when they do, your calm behavior is essential. Notify dispatch right away, and then take care of your passengers by offering reassurance and assistance. You've just heard about 4 important ways to demonstrate your professionalism: through sound preparation, courteous passenger assistance, proper selection of loading and unloading areas, and safe driving. And then there's that extra ingredient, the winning attitude. It gives all true professionals their edge. This special quality may be hard to define, but it's easy to perceive. When you demonstrate a genuine commitment to courtesy, comfort, service, and safety in every aspect of your work, your passengers can't help recognizing the true professional you are.